remember, tough time never lasts. Only tough people last. Blah, 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 blah. It's high quality meme there, right there. So, as I have often repeated, OneNote is too good. OneNote and the whole Microsoft Surface experience with OneNote in particular is extremely good. Just the integration of being able to look at something, screenshot it directly into OneNote, draw all over it, rearrange things, zoom in, zoom out, just in the same in the same location, on the same box. Just I can't say enough good things about it. And this is probably just a function of me, something that works well with my brain, just in general, just being able to see all the things. You know, the more things I can see at the same time, the easier it is to reference and think about the things. So OneNote is just too good in that regard. Obviously, I have misgivings about Microsoft. I don't have misgivings. It's bad. It's bad. And I got the Surface Pro repaired, and I got a new screen for it, and it turned out it had motherboard damage. So I was sitting there like, well, like, I tried. It kind of works in some areas. There's still a few dead zones. Like, I can make this work, and it was still just cumbersome, and it was still annoying. Plus, if it releases, you know, if you're like dragging across an area, you're trying to outline a box, and the stylus cuts out, then you've just released and defined your box, rather than being able to adjust it later. It doesn't work. So I've been looking for alternatives because I really like the Surface Pro 4, just that whole interface. And I went to my local electronics store. Unfortunately, it was a chain store, but I did go to a local small business store first. They didn't have anything, so this was the follow-up, and I bought it new, which is not something I usually do. But I did take advantage of the add-on purchase, the warranty purchase, because like some of those things are like it's like you're buying a Snickers bar and they're like, oh, did you want to get the extended warranty? Like, oh, who provides that extended warranty? Does Snickers provide that? No. Best Buy provides that. The electronics store provides that. Like, how? Well, you know, we kind of try to fix it maybe, and then we'll replace it if we need to. Like, okay, but how? You know, it's a scheme to squeeze a little bit more money out of people for replacements that are probably never going to happen. So I took the likelihood of a replacement being necessary and weighed that against how much it costs to replace it, and said, okay. So I did get the extended warranty. I'm one of those guys. I also know that, so the side effect of them not being the actual warranty providers is that they cover like accidental damage. So if it's something that you're going to carry around a lot, they're just like, oh, well, I guess it was an accident, and they replace it. And more than likely, see, I'm thinking about how much I paid. I mean, it's like an insurance thing. The wager is that 90% of the people who get it don't use it, which is probably pretty likely. So yeah, they could probably replace it maybe 2 or 3 times. I just wasn't very sanguine about the whole experience of dropping that Surface Pro 4. That was a big deal. So being able to replace it for a few years is something I'm willing to pay for. It is, getting back into it was just fantastic. It's just a breath of fresh air. You know how much I hate Microsoft, so you know how good this has to be for me to actually do this. What remains to be seen is whether or not once I get it set up to my liking, I just cut it offline, because I don't like my stuff being reported out, and I also don't like that Windows just has vulnerabilities, just like regular vulnerabilities, just popping up and popping off everywhere. Like true root exploit vulnerabilities, where you literally browse to a website and you get hit, and your data gets locked up with some ransomware or something like that. Although there was a recent Linux Bluetooth vulnerability that was like completely actionless, with a full root access, which is just like completely passive too, which is just unbelievable. So if you've got a Linux box with some Bluetooth and you're not on the most up-to-date kernel, you should probably disable that Bluetooth. I found out about it and I was like, I only sometimes use Bluetooth, and frankly it doesn't work that great on the older ThinkPads. So I just popped into the BIOS and for the ThinkPad BIOS, and then disabled Bluetooth like at that low level. Like, okay, done. You don't have to worry about anything. Just being able to have, they are kind of software shutoffs, but they're more like firmware shutoffs. Very nice. Prefer hardware buttons, but still, Right. Yeah, being able to read customer requirements while looking at the pictures of the requirements, and then translate what I'm reading and what I'm understanding into drawings on the actual unit, drawings of a picture of the piece, the workpiece, and then sending it back and saying, is this what you're talking about? Is worth, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Especially because people can skim and misread and misunderstand. So that is extremely worth it. It's a nice little reader, though. Yeah, I'm probably going to wind up, after I get it set up, cutting it offline and then just leaving it there, transferring things back and forth. I'll probably figure out a little pass-through to get some data. Yeah, think about it. Like I might actually set up my own network for it. Set up a separate Wi-Fi access point for it, just for that device. It would actually be rather interesting to see where it hits. Oh, I did get a hostname file, or a hosts file, that is supposed to block all of the Microsoft things, all the Microsoft and all the ads. So, as far as I know, Windows still honors the host file. I think that's a little bit too low level for them to bypass, but I could be wrong. I'd be interested to know what comes up when I did that, or when I do that. But battery life was just fantastic on it. Reading was fantastic on it. As much as I like the resolution, Surface Pro 4 had a ridiculous resolution. It's part of why the screen was so expensive to replace. But like, the resolution was so high that I was like, even I was like, okay, this is too small. Like, it's actually becoming kind of cluttered. So it's, I forget what this resolution is. It's the smaller Surface Go, because I was thinking horrible, impure thoughts about an iPad Mini. But I just couldn't get around the whole, like, not only do you not own it, but it flaunts that in your face. Like even even the box we have at church, that's an Apple box. And it's like, you come in and did it get an update that broke everything last night that you don't know about? Who knows? You know, you pushed off the update. You can keep ignoring the update, but eventually it's going to go through. And is everything going to work afterwards? Hopefully. So you have kind of the same deal with Windows. I have heard it said, quite foolishly, I think, Linux is free if you don't value your time. Linux is free if you don't value your time. Like, if you're willing to waste a bunch of time learning Linux, then you don't value ostensibly you don't value your time. So if you were to use something that is easier, then obviously you value your time. It's like, no, that's simple investment. That's return on investment. Like, what's better, to spend money or spend time and give time and effort to learn something that you'll always be able to use, or that you own and will always be able to use, or to spend time and money learning a thing that might go away, or might break in a way that you can't continue using it, or might change to a subscription model that it's locking you into that walled garden the entire time. Sorry, I reviewed a bunch of my flags on software ownership, and it just makes me angry. Like, not valuing your time is learning software that might change so that you have to relearn it, or change to a subscription model so they have to pay for the privilege of using it, or might just break that you can't, in a way that you can't fix it, or change your user experience such that it requires you to spend more time operating the thing. Like, that's the thing. It's like free CAD versus forget the name of it, that other one that went to a paid model, and everyone was like, oh no, Fusion 360. You know, Fusion 360 was like, hey, we're free, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't like these guys. And then last year, I think, they switched to a paid model, which is just, you know, it was a partial paid model, and then it's still free for students, but that, you know, the jaws of that will only get tighter and tighter. So what's allowed today is probably not going to be allowed next year. You know, and there's people who, I did watch a recent video on that about someone who does his own design work, and he said, I made the wrong choice and I chose Fusion 360, and they switched their model, and it's kind of open, it's kind of available still, but the writing's on the wall. Like, other people get it, people understand now. Like, this is a trap that people are setting out for you. It's like that'd be a quality meme. It's that guy looking at a bear trap and saying, oh, come on, bears, you're smarter than this. And he looks at a mouse trap and is like, mice, come on, you can't figure this out? And then it's the last one is the guy just enjoying free yet proprietary software made by a company that is essentially losing money and waiting to turn a profit. Like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do with this software, this free software later. Huh, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm going to say it because I remember it and I watched it in the video. I still don't understand VS Code. I don't know where the monetization scheme is. I feel like it's coming, but I don't know quite where it is. I guess I would have to actually use it. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to actually use it. Having a Windows box like this, a proper updated Windows box. VS Code. Ew.